All right, we got season 2 balance changes. I'm going to break them down for you guys so you don't have to read them and give my opinion on them if I have one. So let's get into it. Let's just jump on in. Okay, first of all, the Vanguards. We got Captain America. So they're reducing his base health from 675 to 650 and reducing the shield value from 400 to 350. Personally, I'm happy about that because I can't stand the guy. He's very annoying to play against. Maybe I'm just bad, but overall, I see that as an absolute win. He's also getting a team up, so he's really not going to be losing out much. Doctor Strange, he's losing 2 damage per projectile on his primary attack and reducing the Maelstrom of Madness conversion ratio of dark magic to damage from 1.3 to 1.2. So that's when he uses his E and he blows up. This is going to have a little bit more damage depending on, or a little more, less, he's going to have less damage per point of his thing he's generating. It's hard to explain, I guess. Hulk, so he's getting actually some pretty massive buffs, increasing his base movement speed from 600 to 650, reducing the cooldown of his indestructible guard, which is a shield, from 12 seconds to 10, decreasing the minimum charge time for his leap from 0.7 seconds to 0.5, so you can jump more frequently. That's just going to be crazy. Hulk's going to be nice. Magneto, increasing the energy cost of his ultimate from 3100 to 3400, so it's going to take a little bit longer to get, which is fair, I guess. He is pretty much objectively the best tank in the game right now, so a little nerf isn't going to hurt. He's also losing the team up, so that is actually, that's the biggest hit to him. Penny Parker, so her Cyberweb cluster now has a chance to crit, reduce movement speed penalty while firing, this is her primary attack, from 40% to 20%, so you can move around faster while shooting. And then her base health is going from 650 to 750, so she's actually going to be significantly better if I'm interpreting this correct. We'll see. I have to see how that plays out. She's probably going to be a lot better though. The Thing, decrease in Battle Leap's damage reduction effect for himself and teammates from 30% to 25%, so it's not a super big deal. Just a slight little baby nerf there. At least that's the way I'm interpreting it. Thor, he's getting an increase in survivability. So his HP is going from 525 to 600. His base movement is going from 600 to 650. So man, he is going to be a threat for sure. I already thought Thor was really good. Not the best, obviously, but he's probably like a high B, maybe low A tier. I don't know. It depends who you're playing against, but man, he's already pretty good. So he's going to be really good now. Duelists. Black Widow, she's getting optimizations to her shooting experience, adding a new effect where she can directly shoot after releasing the second kick of Edge Dancer and after using Electroplasma Explosion, her ult. So she can shoot immediately after the kick and immediately after her ult. That seems pretty strong. I don't play a whole lot of Black Widow, so I don't know how much of a change that really is, but it seems pretty good because I've been killed by some crazy Black Widow. Hawkeye, improving his mobility while drawing his bow, enhancing his combat capabilities, increasing the threat of his ultimate. Ooh. Reduce the slow effect while charging the bow from 30% to 20%, so you can move faster while you're holding it down. Increase both instances of damage for hypersonic arrow from 50 to 55. That's not too big of a deal. Sorry. Decreasing the energy cost of his ult from 3700 to 3100, so he's going to get it more frequently. And improving the draw speed from 1.35 times to 1.5 times. So he's going to be... his ult's going to be really nasty, I think. I think his ult's already pretty good, and I actually thought it was in a good spot, but I'm only in like GM. Apparently that's a low rank now. I thought his ult was in a fine spot, but maybe it's not. Hela, and this is the part that makes me a little more nervous. Increasing the cooldown time for Astral Flock from 12 to 15 seconds. I believe that's her Raven ability where she dashes, so she gets that less frequently. The spell field damage of Piercing Knight is going from 30 to 35 damage, so more AoE damage on her Piercing Knight ability, and that is her right-click ability. So yeah, she's getting a lot more damage out of that now, considering it hits how many times? 4 times. So she's getting like 20 more damage total out of that. Pretty big deal. And then they're decreasing the cooldown time for Soul Drainer, which is her E, which CCs people, from 12 seconds to 10. So those are all, except the Astral Flock nerf. Those 2 buffs are pretty good. I'm glad they didn't touch her primary again because it's already too good, I think. Human Torch, his attack feedback and survivability are being improved to enhance his impact across various combat scenarios. So they're reducing the attack interval for Fire Cluster from 0.6 seconds to 0.5 so you can attack faster. The launch timing of the primary attack projectile has been advanced. So it looks like it travels faster as well, I think. Increase the cooldown of Flaming Meteor from 12 seconds to 15. But add a new effect. After releasing Flaming Meteor, it immediately gains 75 bonus health. Wow. Which will start to fall off 3 seconds later at a rate of 30 per second. So that's when you dive in and you blow up. That'll make it a lot easier to pull that off and get out without dying. So that's a pretty good buff. I actually really like that one. Okay, Iron Man is seeing some improvements as mid-range, which I don't think he needs. Slightly reduced Iron Man's hitbox size. That's fair. He's pretty easy to hit. Gain 100 bonus health, activating armor overdrive or gamma overdrive that will start to fall off 5 seconds later at a rate of 30 per second. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm a little mixed. I don't play a whole lot of Iron Man, but I do play him here and there. I don't really know how to feel about that one. Iron Fist, that's a lot to read right there. Reduce the bonus max health gain from Harmony Recovery from 150 to 100, so that's when he goes and heals himself. So he's only getting 100 bonus health now. But slow the fall off rate for that health from 25 per second to 15 per second. So you get less, but it goes away slower. Lower fixed damage of Yachi Chung Kien from 10 to 9, but increase the percentage damage of the enemy's max health per strike from 1.7 to 2.1. So that's when he attacks super fast. They're actually making it do more percentage damage, but less damage to squishies, kind of. So it's going to do less base damage, but more percentage. So it's going to be better against tanks. Decreasing the cooldown of his Kunlun kick from 12 seconds to 10. So he's going to be able to kick more often. So overall, I think those are pretty good changes. People thought he was going to be insane when the season started, including me. But he kind of turned out to be whatever. So I think these are some good changes, probably. Mr. Fantastic, increasing his base health from 350 to 375. Wow, he's going to be tanky. Increase the damage of Stretch Punch from 60 to 65 and from 75 to 80 while in the inflated state. Man. Flexible elongation, new effect. Enemies within range now suffer a 35% slow effect. Reduce flexible elongation cooldown time from 10 seconds to 8. That is, that's a pretty big deal. So that's when he pulls himself to you. So now you get a 35% slow, and it comes back faster. Reduce the elasticity gain from Elastic Strength, which is your passive ability, from 30 to 20, while the elasticity provided by Stretch Punch is increased from 5 to 8. So you get more from punching, and you get less from your passive. After entering the inflated state, the bonus health provided to yourself was reduced from 450 to 400. Okay. New feature, when Mr. Fantastic uses Brainiac Bounce, his ult immediately gain bonus health equal to that gained when entering the inflated state. Man, so he's going to be a lot harder to kill in his ult now. That's the one thing I think sucked about his ult before, is it was pretty easy to die. Now he's not going to be able to die very easily. So that's good, I guess, for him. I've versed some very annoying Mr. Fantastics, but overall, I think he's kind of weak. So I think these are probably good changes. Moon Knight. All right, this is what I'm curious about. Increase the Crescent Dart projectile speed from 120 to 150. So that's going to move, his primary attack's going to move faster. Moonblade, new effect. So this is his right click, I believe. Gain 25 bonus health with each enemy hit up to a max of 100. 3 seconds after the bonus health stops increasing, it will start to fall off at a rate of 20 per second. Wow, that's pretty good. So I actually think that's a really good change for him. Makes him be able to survive a lot easier because he's really easy to kill. Speed up his Moonlight Hook Pull startup time after a hit from 0.4 to 0.15 seconds. Okay, so when you hook, there's like a little delay before you actually move. This will make it faster. You see, as soon as you hook, you move a lot faster. Extend the duration of Hand of Khonshu, his ultimate, from 3.5 seconds to 4.5 seconds. Oh boy. Increase the number of talons generated from this period from 14 to 18. Additionally, the fall speed of the talons has been slightly enhanced. A new damage fall mechanic for the spell field has been added, beginning at 1.5 meters from the center and reaching a maximum reduction of 70% at 5 meters. So I don't know how to feel about that. I'm hoping they're not doing too much to buff his ult because I don't want it back to where it was before. So it's going to be a lot better overall is the way I'm interpreting that, which I don't know how to feel about that, but we'll see. Scarlet Witch. All right, removing Chaos Control percentage damage. This is her primary attack. So no more percentage damage, but it's doing more damage over more flat damage, fixed damage from 60 to 80 per second. That's pretty big. So it's gonna be a lot better against characters like Spider-Man and some other dives. Increase, I'm not even gonna try to say it, burst projectile damage from 35 to 40 and spell field damage from 35 to 40. So when it actually hits you directly, it's gonna do 5 more damage. And the AoE itself is going to deal 5 more damage. That's her right click, like her missiles. Increase the cooldown of Mystic Projection from 8 seconds to 10. So that's her dash. And reduced phase state time from 2 seconds to 1. So it's going to have more cooldown and it's going to not last as long. So her mobility is going down a lot and survivability is going down a lot. Rework the slow effect of Reality Erasure, which is her ultimate. I believe. I might have to check that actually. Okay, that is her ultimate. So instead of, she slows down when she uses her ult, now that will start after 1.5 seconds instead of immediately. So you actually get more movement right after using your ult, which is good. And a linear increase to a 35% slow over 3.5 seconds. So instead of just slowing right off the rip, it gradually starts at 1.5 seconds and goes up to 3.5 seconds. We're at 35% slow. So that's a pretty good buff for her. All right, Star-Lord, reducing his damage output and efficiency of his ultimate charge rate. So reducing blaster barrage damage from 80 per second to 75, Introduced a new damage fall-off mechanic starting at 4 meters and maxing out at 80% reduction at 8 meters. So that is his E ability where he spins in circles and shoots all around. That is the only thing getting changed, but this change is to reduce how fast he gets his ult, because you can get his ult like 20% charge of one use of that sometimes. It's actually pretty crazy. So I think that's probably a pretty good change. He seems to get his ult pretty quickly. Winter Soldier, here's where I get sad because this is my main. He does need a nerf though. We're reducing his threat level against vanguards and reducing the margin of error in his ultimate ability, okay? Increase the cooldown time for Bionic Hook from 8 seconds to 12. That's a good change, I think, because his hook is a guaranteed kill almost every time. At least in the higher ranks, because people take advantage of it. Reduce base damage of Crack and Impact his ultimate from 100 to 80. Ooh. And lower the culling threshold from 20% to 15. Man, that's actually pretty rough. So it only does 80 damage, and they have to hit 15% of their health to insta-die instead of 20%. So that's actually a pretty big deal, I think, for Winter Soldier. And honestly, I think out of all the things to nerf on Winter Soldier, I think his ult is one of the things that didn't need to be nerfed as much. At least in the higher ranks. The lower ranks, I understand it can go like 15 times. That does not happen at the higher ranks hardly at all. It's pretty rare. I think really some of the things I think they should have just reverted him back to season 0, where he was at. He had like 25 less HP and he got less HP per ability. I think that's one of the things that just made him so hard to kill in the recent seasons. And I think nerfing the hook was a good idea because his hook was and is pretty cracked. So honestly, if they would have just done this right here and then reverted the rest to season 0, I think we would have been in the perfect spot. But reducing the ult, I don't agree with. But that's just my opinion. People probably are gonna rage about me saying that in the comments, but whatever. All right, Wolverine increased the rage gained from his Savage Claw hits, which I believe is his primary, from 7 to 10, so you get faster rage charge, while rage gained from Berserk Claw Strike has been decreased from 7 to 5. I think that's when you dash and then you attack quickly. Reduce rage gained from Feral Leap from 20 to 10, so you get less from the leap, and from Vicious Rampage from 20 to 15. Okay, I think Vicious Rampage is actually when you attack fast. I think Berserk Claw Strike is just right click where you dash. Makes more sense. However, rage gained from taking damage has been increased from 3 to 5. Okay, those are pretty interesting. I don't play him a whole lot, but I've played him enough to kind of know that that's probably a good nerf to him. I don't know. It's kind of a nerf and a buff, really. So it's kind of hard to say. Reduce the time an enemy is knocked down after impact from last stand, your ultimate, from 1 second to 0.75. So they nerf his ult, which is probably a good thing. Okay, strategists. Here we go. Adam Warlock is getting a cooldown for Soul Bond increase by 10 seconds. So it takes 40 seconds to get it now. It's already a pretty long cooldown. It's probably good because Soul Bond is one of the best abilities in the game, easily. His ultimate now restores 30% of a fallen ally's maximum health instead of a fixed 100 health. So that's really good for tanks, but that's not as good for strategists and DPS characters because they're going to get less than 100 health. But the tanks are going to get like, I don't know, if you have an 800 health tank, you're going to get like 100 or 240 health from that, right? Am I doing the math right on that? Anyways, that's pretty big deal for the tanks. So if you have like 300 health, which most strategists don't have, but if you had 300 health, you get 100 health back. So that's pretty interesting. I guess you'd technically get 90 health back. It's pretty interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's definitely way better for the tanks than it is for... I think it's probably... I don't know why they needed to change it, but interesting. Cloak and Dagger... okay, what are they doing? Changing the ult. After activating Eternal Bond, their ult, the duration of the first 3 healing zones will no longer be calculated separately. Oh. Instead, they will remain active until the duration of the final healing zone ends, at which point all will be moved together. Okay. So that's kind of that's actually a buff to her ultimate, because before, I mean, they're all calculated separately. So the first one would end, and then like a second later, whatever the timing is, the second one would end, then the third one, then the fourth. But now... Oh, it's the first 3 now. But now they all end when the last one ends. So that's actually pretty good. That actually, I think that's a pretty good buff to her. I mean, I don't think she needs it, but it's pretty interesting. It's a good buff for her. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of tired of seeing Cloak and Dagger. Invisible Woman. Decrease the shield value of her shield from 200 or 350 to 250. I agree with that. Her shield's way too strong as it is. Loki, increase the regeneration domain cooldown from 25 seconds to 30. So it only takes 5 more seconds to get, which isn't that big of a deal in my opinion. Yeah, I think they could have done a little more to that, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Mantis, reducing her base health from 275 to 250. Okay. Effects of her healing flower and allied inspiration can be stacked up to a maximum of 16 seconds. Okay, so you don't actually stack the percentage that it applies, you just stack how long it lasts. So that's a pretty good change, I think, for her. I like that right there. And I don't know why they did the health nerf. Maybe she needed it. I'm not sure. Okay, here, this is gonna apply to me a lot. I play a lot of Rocket. His healing abilities will see some adjustments to enhance team survivability while balancing his mobility. Oh no, don't touch the mobility. Decrease the healing area of repair mode spheres from 70 to 50. What? But add a new effect of, one-time healing to 55 health to allies hit. Ooh. Projectile speed reduction increased. Speed reduction increased from 4.5 to 7 meters. So the way I'm interpreting this is it slows down even more. I was kind of scared when I saw this because his healing, I mean, you can't burst heal anybody, but now you actually get a little bit of burst heal, which is pretty cool. You get 55 right off the rip, and then you heal 50 per second. That's actually really interesting. I kind of like these changes. I think that's overall a net buff for his healing. Extend the cooldown for his jetpack dash from 6 seconds to 10. That's a huge deal for Rocket. Wow. Reduce dash distance from 10 meters to 8. That's massive. So I can't even play, I probably won't even be able to play Rocket aggressively anymore. That's how I typically play him. I try to just play super aggro and I can heal my team at the same time. Because with Rocket, that's how you can do that pretty easily, because the heal orbs, the way they slow down and stuff, you can just turn around, pop a couple at your teammates. And since they're only affected by one at a time, you don't need to just sit there and spam them all day. But now, you're not going to have the mobility to get out a lot of the time. So his dash is getting a fat nerf. I mean, you can still do it, I guess. You just have to be way more conservative with your dashes. Okay, reduce CYA's ultimate damage boost from 40% to 25. That sucks. But add a new effect. Okay, during the ability's duration, linked allies will receive an additional 100 bonus health points per second, capping at 150. Dang. Okay, so he's like a support. That's like an actual support ult now. So everybody complaining about not having a good ult to keep you alive is gonna be happy about this, I guess. I'm actually pretty happy. I kind of like that. It's gonna suck that you lose the damage boost, but that's still a pretty good boost. 25% is still pretty decent. After breaking the link, this bonus starts to fall off after 1 second at a rate of 75 per second. Okay, so you lose it in 2 seconds as soon as you break off. Additionally, increase the energy cost from 3,700 to 4,000. It's not that big of a deal. You get your ult pretty quickly, especially with that healing change. It's probably gonna be about the same, or you might even get faster, because the burst heal is a pretty big deal. 55 HP. So that's gonna completely change Rocket's gameplay as far as I'm concerned. Most people kind of just heal bottom with him anyways, which I don't think is the way to play him, at least right now. It might end up being the way to play him in the future, just the way these changes are. But I mean, I think you could still probably play him aggressively. That's probably not as big of a deal as I'm thinking. I mean, the dashes, you just can't use them as much. Okay, let's move on. Team up ability. So we're gonna go over all the team ups. New team up. Arcane Order for Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. So as a team-up anchor, Doctor Strange gains a maximum health increase of 100. That's pretty good. And then Scarlet Witch gets her new magical Mystic Burst ability through her team-up with Doctor Strange. And I'll probably put that on screen right now so you can see it. But it looks like her damage just like skyrockets, which is insane. And I think these two are pretty fitting for a team-up. My scroll was broken, sorry. Stars align, Captain America and Winter Soldier. So as a team-up maker, Captain America gets a health increase of 100 and a 5% boost in damage and output. That's pretty good. And then Winter Soldier gets the devastating stellar impact ability through his team up with Captain America. So that's where he can dash to allies, and he does like an AoE attack, which is pretty interesting. We don't know the fine details of that yet, but that's kind of what it does. Mental projection, Emma Frost, Psylocke, and Magneto. So team of banker, Emma Frost gets a maximum health increase of 100. And I broke down her abilities earlier. She had 650 health, I believe. So I don't know if that's with this or without it. I'm assuming it's with it. Magneto receives the magnetic resonance ability through his team up with Emma Frost. Interesting. And then Psylocke receives soul resurgence ability through her team up with Emma Frost. Both of these, in terms of the video, like what the video showed, they're the same. You basically create clones of yourself, kind of like Loki, and it looks like they attack. I don't know if that's just fake, like if they actually do damage or not. If they do damage, it's absolutely insane. If they don't do damage, it's still probably pretty good. It's a good distraction, I guess. Maybe at the higher reloads, it probably won't matter. I'm assuming it's going to do damage, though. Adjusted or removed. So ammo overload, Winter Soldier is losing out on that. So he is no longer part of the team up. Lunas, no Namor. Namor is no longer a part of that, but he's a part of a different one. We'll go over that. Psylocke's being removed from the Magic team up. Doctor Strange is getting removed from the Hulk team up, but Namor's added to that instead. Now, my theory for that, they haven't actually said what it does besides supercharging them with Gamma. My theory for that is it's going to basically be the same as the Luna team up, but it's not going to have the slow anymore. It's going to have the increased damage. Maybe they even add a little more damage. I'm not sure. But I think the slow was the biggest deal with the ice turret against divers like Spider-Man and stuff. So I think overall it might be a nerf. Again, we don't know what these do yet, so it could actually be a buff, but I'm assuming it's going to be a nerf because people complain about it quite a bit. Metallic Chaos, Scarlet Witch, Magneto. So they're actually, I thought they were taking this away. What does it say? Team Up Anchor enhancement for Scarlet Witch has been removed along with the Team Up. Magneto loses the metallic. Okay, yeah. So they're just completely wiping out the Team Up. It's completely gone, not in the game anymore. Same thing with the Thor, Captain America, Storm Team Up. This has been completely removed. All 3 of their benefits have been completely removed from the game. So that's all the balance changes for Season 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one. Peace out.